This is our back greenhouse that we use for ornamental and native plants that I have excess of or held orders. We lost our native house last year due to a snow collapse. So we haven't rebuilt it yet, so we do have this empty space. So we're a little tight on space usually at the beginning of the year until more plants get sold. And then this greenhouse has a lot of native woody plants, roses in small 2.5 inch pots, and then some small trees and shrubs underneath the snow as well. And so once the snow naturally melts, we unpack all the plastic and straw and get those plants a little more sunlight and growing. This is another back house of the native perennials. This stays open all year round. You can see the bricks up there in the snow. That's weighing down plastic and straw. Everything got cut back in the fall and covered with the plastic and then the straw. And so when the snow melts, we'll be uncovering it all, and it'll just grow naturally at the rate of how the weather is outside. And then we'll be able to access full flats for orders for landscapers. And in here we have wetland, upland, and then we have one other house that has all of our woodland natives in it that's outside as well. This is our Dr. Peony greenhouse. These are all peonies. You can see some of them are just starting to come up. So these were planted in the fall, or they're an older crop from previous years. We get them all condensed. We cover these in a frost cloth and we keep the heat off or really minimal in here throughout the winter. We also have some extra bleeding hearts in here. And we just uncovered these just a couple days ago. These are Globemaster alliums, and they were already growing that far even underneath the shade cloth. And then some other backstock of plants that we needed to land in here that will get moved into other greenhouses eventually. Daylilies, some grasses. And then when our roses come in, they'll be all on this side and ready to sell because we bring those in from a nursery in Minnesota. This is our perennial propagation house. It's 32 degrees outside right now, but it's so hot and sunny inside we have the doors open to keep it cooler. Right now, we're doing a few cuttings. It's similar to the annual situation where we have mist and the bottom heat tubes, and we take our own cuttings off certain plants that we're allowed to, stick those in soil, and with the mist from above and the heat from below, the plants grow roots and we make another plant off of it. We also do a lot of seeding in here for natives. Right now, because it's so hot and on sunny days, we cover it with the shade cloth. And we also have plastic over it to keep the moisture in. And these are a little dry. I'm going to water these. But these are some asters of seed we collected ourselves last year. And so once they sprout, we move them to this side. We have styrofoam underneath because we don't want the trays to dry out as quick and the seedlings to die because they are at a very fragile state. So once these get to be 2 or 3 nodes of growth, we'll be transplanting them into, most of them into black 2.5 inch pots. And then we'll sell them that way in retail or wholesale or to landscapers. Now these are all grasses, native grasses, and we seeded these directly into the pots because that's just easier than transplanting singular grass blades. So some of these have popped, some haven't yet. And then we have our stock plants that we pulled at the back so we can get cuttings off certain things like wild grape, buttonbush, New Jersey tea, clematis. Those are all back there. And the best cuttings for woody plants are just the newest growth. And I can show you on one of these. Just some fresh growth like this off a button bush is the easiest way to get roots underneath the soil. So I'm always watching these to try to pull them quick and get them stuck under the mist. And then, so we'll have our next round of seeding of natives and fill up this whole side in a couple weeks here. We keep a lot of our seed in the fridge because it has to be stratified. Most of it's up in the office, but there's a few things back here. And this is pale purple coneflower, Echinacea pallida. It needs to be in this fridge, in this bag, cold and moist for 90 days. So I put this in here a while ago so this can be planted April 23rd. It's written on there in Sharpie. And then we also have some Baptisia that'll be ready to plant on the 23rd of March. So usually this is packed, and then we'll keep track of when they need to be put into their seed trays and got started. And then hopefully they all sprout. Sometimes we have some losses. We always keep track of what everything is with the Latin name, date. And then we quickly run out of room in here once we start transplanting all the seedlings, because this would be many, many flats if we did all of them.